acts of kindness.
9 seconds.
Thousands of Arizonans reported
Turn that monitor off. Well, good Monday morning. There's your oxymoron for the day. 3 minutes past 10 o'clock, 48 degrees, and time for another edition of KRIM's Community Spotlight. And with us today, we have Debbie Steffens from the Senior Center down on Main Street. Debbie, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Good to be here.
They keep you busy down there, don't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are thumping, always.
And this time of year especially.
Especially.
But things are, after, with all the COVID stuff going on and everything, things kind of back to normal as far as operations at the Senior Center?
Well, we're definitely back to having our activities. They're just done in a little bit different way. We
Right.
still require masks to be worn until you get to your place. And then we have desk and table shields set
Oh,
up
cool.
so we can still have lunch and see each other. But
Keeping
you're a little
everybody
bit
safe.
protected. Yes,
I love it.
absolutely.
Well, one of the things we want to talk about today is that, we talk on a pretty routine basis here about all the great things that the Senior Center offers to residents here in Rim Country. And the idea is, first of all, who the heck pays for all this? Well, it's donations from good-meaning people. But there's a great way that you can take part in donating to this. If you have any tax liability at all, why give money to the government when you can support stuff right here at home? And the Senior Center is a great one.
Absolutely. I love this program, and I love every year it seems more and more people are becoming aware of this opportunity. I just recently saw on Facebook somebody was saying, hey, I want to be part of the tax credit. Who should I give to? And there were so many wonderful responses. There's several nonprofits in our area that can benefit from this. I do want to kind of educate a little bit if you don't understand what it is. The Arizona State Tax Credit is a designation of your state taxes that you can designate to a qualified charitable organization. So it's much like the credit for kids, tax credit for kids. In fact, you can give to both. You can give to the schools, and you can also give to a qualified charitable organization.
Now, let's fall asleep and have an amazing dream right now, and dream that Randy's got this huge state tax liability, which I don't. But
oh darn!
But let's say I do. I mean, how much of that can I give to the Senior Center?
Sure. So if you're filing joint, you can give up to $800.
Wow.
And if you're filing single, up to $400.
So $400 per person. That's nice.
I do want to point out, not every nonprofit qualifies for this tax benefit. So I saw a couple of nonprofits that were listed that may not qualify for this. It's a very specific criteria. It doesn't mean if you're in love with another nonprofit that doesn't qualify for this that they're a bad nonprofit. It has nothing to do with it. It's just they have to meet a certain criteria. I know we meet it at the Senior Center because of our meal program.
Right.
So if you want to make sure that your nonprofit that you want to give to is part of the Arizona State Tax Credit, you can go to the irs.gov under this Arizona State Tax Credit and verify that your nonprofit's there. Your nonprofit should have two numbers, your tax ID number, which all nonprofits should have, and then a QCO, which is the Qualified Charitable Organization number, and that's a smaller number, so that's what you want to be provided for. And it's easy to make the designation. You just write the check to the Senior Center or go online and make that online donation, send in cash, however you want to do it, and we send a tax letter to you as confirmation, so it's super simple.
Well, and you've got so many things going on at the Senior Center that, I mean, the annual budget, there's got to be some big numbers. What percentage of your support comes from locals doing this kind of thing?
Sure. So, and our tax credit is one of our main sources of funding,
Right.
and so it's a good probably 30 to 40% of our funding.
Wow.
We do grant writing. We do try to get some other government funds. But part of the reason that the government allows this tax credit is because they pulled back on some grant monies for nonprofits, and they want us to do the work to fund it through this program, which to me is great because it helps us get relationships with our donors, and that's what we want. So we could get the government a check with a lot of paperwork, or we can go through this program and have individuals that live among our community. They can see their tax dollars at work and be part of such a great mission. So it's definitely a win-win for everybody. Tax credit paying taxes never felt so good.
Well, you do so many different things. I mean, you got meals for folks.
Yes.
And the Meals on Wheels comes out of the Senior Center, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So right now we are at record-breaking meals that we've ever served before.
Really?
We are serving around 200 meals a day.
A day?
140 of that is our local homebound. And then the other is our in-house or pickup meals.
It has always torn at my heart to hear multiple stories in the past of people that are homebound And the only physical interaction they have with anybody is when the Meals on Wheels shows up with some meals for them. And what a sad thing that is. But also what a beautiful thing that is at the same time. So obviously, I didn't realize the numbers had gone up that high. That's crazy.
Yes, and through COVID, we really saw the increase.
Mhm.
And our food cost has gone up 40% in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And part of that's just because of the increase in cost, but part of it also is availability. So we might normally purchase this one product, but it's no longer available. So that pushes us to force us to purchase something that we normally wouldn't, but now we have to, and that's a greater cost.
Right.
And so funding is definitely something that I wish we didn't have to talk about as a nonprofit. I wish we could just focus on the great services and programs and the people. But the reality is, like you said, the reason why our doors are open is because there's generosity of kind individuals that make sure our doors can stay open.
Right. And the Meals on Wheels is a beautiful example of the type of outreach that the Payson Senior Center has. But there's a bunch of other stuff too.
Yes. So we also have our senior transportation, and I just got this figure in that our transportation fuel, so we do door-to-door transportation, which means we'll go to the home of the individual that needs the ride and take them to their medical appointments, to get prescriptions, grocery shopping, to bring them into the center for all the fun activities and
Right.
socialization.
And for some of
there.
these seniors, that's the only way they can get around because you know, the driving is no longer a possibility for them.
Absolutely. And our transportation fuel has gone up $1.44 a gallon just a year ago.
Yeah.
It increased.
Yeah.
So
It's increased my vocabulary too.
it's yeah.
But not in a good way.
No, it's been incredible the cost increase that we've incurred.
Really?
But yet we're still able to continue to not only serve those that we had already been serving, but increase. And that's just amazing and humbling to know. It's because people see what we do is important. It's imperative.
So a lot of transport work every week?
Yep, every day, Monday through Thursday. We ask that you call in advance if you do need a ride because we fill up. We do prioritize medical appointments, but it's important too to get folks out to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
That increases quality of life. If we can take them to go shopping or to get their hair done, or like I said, to the center to join us in our exercise classes. That's what our mission combats against the risks that seniors face, which is depression, isolation, and hunger. And so those social activities are a big part of it.
Right.
We had a gentleman just recently say he lost his wife passed away, and he said that this time of year is really hard. It gets dark early, and he finds himself sitting alone at night, and that's his hardest time. But he says if he gets to come out during the day and have some activity, it helps a lot the
Like that,
evenings.
yeah.
And so the activities that we have during the day, I think, are helping people through the lonely nights.
Right. And here in northern Gila County, and Payson in particular, the demographics, I mean, we have a lot of retired folks up here.
Yes.
And so this isn't going to change anytime soon for you.
Right. I think it'll only increase. A lot of people retire to this beautiful rim country. Why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
But then they find themselves separated from their family or friends and eventually aging to a place where they need some assistance. And that's the blessing of our programs and services is that we try to preserve that independence with integrity. I think
Right.
we all want to be able to remain independent in our older years. And programs like Meals on Wheels, like you said, having someone that's going to check on you every day,
Right.
provide a nutritious meal, have that transportation, knowing that these services are available can bring a lot of peace to people.
I guess this would be a good time to say, but wait, there's more. Because you folks are doing a lot. I mean, you have different special events and all kinds of different stuff all the time.
Absolutely. We say that we're serving our family. Our homebound and our seniors really become part of our family. And when we had to close the center for activities down for COVID, we were still doing our meals and transportation, but it was a little while before we could open up. And when we did, we had people say, I'm home again. This is home.
Gotta love it.
So we have so many activities. I encourage you to visit paysonseniorcenter.org or stop by and get a calendar. There's so many activities, I couldn't remember them all, but just about every kind of exercise class, from Zumba active to
Wow.
sit and strengthening. We have people that have suffered a stroke and have gone through the physical therapy. That part has ended, but they're still not confident or strong enough. So that class is really good for them. It helps them just getting up and out of chairs, working the kind of essential muscles that we just need to keep going, to survive through the day. So there's a sit and balancing, sit and strengthening. We have line dancing, and our line dancing group is so fun. They did a whole Christmas line dancing entertainment.
Wow.
They did a Halloween one, which was really spooky. But we're just blessed. We have so many great music groups that come in for free, and Cinnamon Twist is one of them, 6 Gallon Hat, and there's others that they come in, they donate their time and their talents, and it's such a treat for us. The center, if you walk in, is full of life. From the outside, it could look a little dreary. There's not windows.
You're
and
right,
stuff.
though. There is an energy
in,
that you can feel when you walk in. That's
absolutely, cool. It's thumping from the moment you walk in those doors.
We talked about the number of meals and everything, but how many people are coming down to the senior center right now, roughly on a weekly basis? Would you guess?
Oh, a weekly basis? How about daily? I can do daily.
Okay.
I'm a small math mind. I would say around 60.
Wow.
Before COVID, we would have over 100 easily a day coming in and out of our doors. But our activities, it's not all at once. They overlap. So we have card playing, we have the exercise classes in the morning, we have our lunch group. So it's constantly a flow of traffic in and out. And
well, this goes well beyond the idea that, I want to support this because those are things that I want to go down and take part in. I think we all need to support this because this is a wonderful way to take care of the seniors in our community. What more can you ask for? Transportation, meals, activities. These are all huge things for people as they're aging, and especially if they don't have family around and everything. It would be tragic to think what would happen without it.
Absolutely, and that's why when COVID hit, some businesses and organizations could close down. Maybe it was I'm sure it was a heartbreak for anyone that had to do that, but we couldn't. We didn't have that option. These were, our services are imperative to life.
These people depend on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I was so thankful that year we had an increase of support to make sure that we could continue. And that was incredible because we missed out on a couple of our fundraisers. We couldn't do those big fundraising events. And so individual givers stepped into that gap and made sure that we could, like I said, not only continue who we were serving, but increase others that showed up and had the same need.
And we'll talk a little bit more about if you are thinking about seeing if some of your state tax liability can be deferred to the senior center. We'll tell you how to do that in a minute. But even over and above all of that, this is a nonprofit that deserves our support, whether you have a tax liability or not. And that's not a hard thing to do. How do people donate to the senior center?
Sure, and
they just come down and throw wads of money.
Absolutely, we pretty much stand there with buckets. No, I'm just kidding. I've done that before, but no. Anyway, that's convenient. We try to make it an option for everybody. Some people like to mail in a check. You can do that and mail it into 514 West Main Street. You can stop by the center on Main Street and hand the donation in. We can use your debit card or credit card over the phone if you want to call it in, or you can do it online. It's totally a secure way of giving, and you can just visit paysonseniorcenter.org. There's a donate button right on the homepage. Click that, and there's steps that you can follow very easily. We also have the tax credit form, so if you're one that does your taxes on TurboTax or on your own, there's a form that we give you to help you with the tax credit. Otherwise, our tax accountants locally here in town are really, all of them are supportive in keeping monies local, and not just with the senior center. I go and visit them every year to thank them, and they have brochures on all, many of the nonprofits that qualify and the school. And I love that they do that and that they care enough to help educate people. But such a great group. So if you have tax questions, obviously there's my disclaimer, I'm not a tax accountant. Call one of ours that are local here. They're more than happy to explain it and help you through the process.
Outstanding.
But yes.
The when it comes to the senior center itself, I know you have some paid staff, but you also have volunteers down there. You already mentioned about the music that comes in, but that's only one group of volunteers, right?
Correct. We have a wonderful group of volunteers that help us prep the meals. They help us load up the meals. Some of them are drivers who go and actually deliver the meals, and that's such a heart of commitment, and we just appreciate them. But then we have volunteers that come in, our greeters. They're the welcoming smile that when you walk in the door, you're going to be greeted. And you know, we have people that are nervous the first time coming in. They're not sure what to expect, but you're immediately loved on. You're immediately felt like you're connected right away. We have such a great group of seniors too, very welcoming and warm group. But the volunteer opportunity is really something for everyone. And on our trinkets and treasure side, which is our fine resale, that is another main source of funding. So thank you to anyone that donates. We could use some furniture donations right now, but we have volunteers that help run that store as well, and we're so thankful for them.
That might be a good place to hit up if you're thinking about, you know, you can't figure out what kind of Christmas gift you want to get for somebody out there. Maybe
Yes.
you can find something at Trinkets and Treasures on Main Street.
Absolutely. There's antique items, there's silly items, there's nice items, there's items you can recycle, upcycle, you know, it's something for everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And where would you be without your volunteers?
Yes, I won't even imagine that. And that's truly, that's the greatest gift, is to give the gift of time. You know,
Sure.
you don't get to gain that back. You can maybe gain resources or money back, but once your time is spent, but what better way to spend it than knowing that's what I feel so blessed, to wake up every day and be part of this mission and this team, and
Well,
it's,
you know,
it's really rewarding.
I remember with my mother in her, you know, later life before she passed away, she things like, you know, interacting with other people, and I mean that was huge. And when you mentioned that after the COVID thing, we kind of worked our way around some of that, and people were finally back in again. I mean, their response was, "We're home." You know, I mean, what an amazing testimony that is.
Yes.
So the bottom line is, it sounds like a very good, worthwhile nonprofit to support. And if you can do so, again, you can mail your financial support to 514 West Main Street, and or stop on down and take a look. You know, it's always good smelling in there with the kitchen and everything. You always got good food going, and
Yes.
you're right though. I mean, people, you walk in and people are smiling right as you walk in.
Yes.
And I know, again, going back to my experience with my mom, there was a little apprehensiveness, you know, to begin with, as far as, well, I'm not a senior. Seniors are old people, and you know, she was like knocking on 90. You know, and
It's a state of mind.
yeah, it truly is. But I personally don't ever intend to grow up, but I'll go down to the senior center. By golly. Is there some kind of requirement, or I mean, do people have to be a certain age to come in there?
Yes, we focus on 50 and finer.
Oh,
So
gosh.
see, that's so young. So that's why we're so active.
That's why-
And so-
I wanted to hear a higher number.
Again, you know, I wish we could use a different word than senior, because I know, like you said, people they don't want to label themselves as that. But
The chronologically challenged center.
the more wiser and more experienced
Amen.
and life group. I mean, that's
Right.
really what it should be. And
Right.
we have groups where our young people will come in and our seniors will, you know, mentor them, and our kids are listening, and the seniors are enjoying themselves because they're so rich with knowledge.
And what a
so
profound opportunity for younger
Yes.
people, because there is a huge repository of information and experience there that
absolutely.
you owe it to yourself to tap into. I know, at least in my weird little corner of the world, and my experiences, it's been the older folks that I've become friends with that I've learned the most from.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the young ones I learned good stuff from, what not to do.
Or technology.
Yeah.
How to work this controller or device.
How many hammers does it take to use this computer? At any rate, though, I just think it's a great local cause, and it's something that I think we should all get out and support. My heart always just kind of weeps when we talk about that Meals on Wheels,
Yes.
because that's crazy how many meals a day you're doing for people that may only be their only interaction with another human. That right there isn't. I mean, you had me sold right there.
Oh, well, I did bring some stories. This whole folder is full of just people writing in cards saying thank you and just impact. And
Let's hear a couple.
okay, so this one's from Janice, and we said, what does it mean to receive the Meals on Wheels? And this is her own words. I'm just reading it. She says, I would starve in the condition I'm in. All friends have died. I'm handicapped. I have to depend on other people, but I keep trying. It's amazing what you can do with your feet. I look forward to seeing the driver that delivers the meal. She addresses me like a human, and then she gives her name, but I won't give the driver's name out of just
That's cool.
confidential. And that just it just touches your heart.
Yeah.
You know, I've had the privilege to deliver Meals on Wheels, so I've seen the faces, I've seen the people behind our mission, and I think that's what kind of just motivates me and gets me so excited to invite people. Really, I'm a terrible salesperson, but for the mission, I just like to invite people to be part of something so impactful and powerful and wonderful, and that's why I love my job.
It sells itself. Yeah.
It absolutely does, and same with the transportation. There's a testimony of a lady. Her husband is 89. They're in their late 80s, and he usually does the driving. She's legally blind. Well, he took a fall, and she called the center, and she was really upset because she didn't know how she could get him to his next medical appointment because he was in a special kind of wheelchair that wouldn't fit in a taxi or a car. She couldn't drive. So he said, oh, that's why we're here. We have these special buses that have wheelchair lifts, and we'll make it work for you. And I actually took the call, and she started crying, and she says, you've given me hope.
Wow.
She says, you don't even understand. She says, you've given me hope that now I know that I can get him to the appointment he needs and to go grocery shopping. And she was crying, I was crying, and it's what we do. And so it's so amazing.
But to give somebody hope,
yeah.
I mean, or conversely, to be devoid of hope, I mean, that's a terrible place to be. So this is a beautiful thing, and at least in my estimation, it deserves a great deal of support. So be thinking about that as we end the year and you get ready to do your taxes and everything. It's a big part of what keeps the Payson Senior Center afloat, and between now and then, get on down to the Trinkets and Treasures.
Yes.
And buy everything.
and donate some,
Yeah.
so we can keep
You said
it going.
you're a little low on furniture.
Yes, we could definitely use some nice quality furniture donations, and we can schedule pickup. So
Yeah.
furniture's our bigger, obviously, dollar items that support. So we set aside resale space for that specifically, and we were blessed to have a really great donations come through. But man, it goes quickly out that door. So.
For me, I love going to yard sales and rummage sales and stuff like that. I think it's you can find little treasures, trinkets and treasures actually. But to have a yard sale, it's one of the things I hate the most.
Yeah.
I don't have any interest in doing that at all. I would much rather donate it to a good cause like this and know that someone else can deal with all that stuff here. I don't want this stuff, just take it away and make some money with it.
Right, and shopping is a guilt-free experience because you're going there. I told my husband.
You've been talking to my wife again, haven't you?
I said, I made a donation to a great cause, I just happened to get the purse for it,
Wow, there you go.
That only worked once, but it is a guilt-free.
But it worked.
It did, it's a guilt-free shopping experience because you're literally putting money into the resources to helping feed somebody or
that isn't a
provide
win.
a trip.
That's
so
a win-win.
It is.
Everybody walks away smiling on that.
Absolutely.
And now the Trinkets and Treasures again, Monday through Thursday?
Tuesday through Saturday.
Tuesday through Saturday, okay.
Yes, 9 to 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there some, do people look through to see what makes sense and what doesn't, or you just drop it off and drive away, or
No,
how does that work?
There's definitely be somebody to greet you. We pretty much take a variety of things, just nothing that's toiled, torn, or broken because we can't sell that. And then if
Right.
we have to pay to go to the dump, we've taken money out of resources to meals or something. So
Yeah.
we're pretty,
There's
committed to that just because we want to make sure every dollar.
There's always some out there that want to just dump their garbage on you.
Yeah, we're blessed. We don't see that too much at our store, but there will be somebody to greet you and thank you and
Good.
definitely
And
let you know.
tax deductible receipt too?
Yes, absolutely. In-kind donation receipt, for sure, because it's a nonprofit and a great cause, and so you can get a receipt and sometimes a coupon in return.
Bonus. And again, they're open Tuesday through Saturday at Trinkets and Treasures.
Correct.
The Meals on Wheels and everything, that was Monday through Thursday?
Yeah, so the center's open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4, but we deliver extra meals for those that receive them on the weekends, on Thursday.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
I have just the utmost respect for what you're doing down there, and I hope you
Thank
have
you.
all the good fortune for this next year as we move forward. And again, if people want to call to ask questions or anything, where can they call?
Sure, they can call the center 928-474-4876.
4876. Gotta love it. All right, and Debbie, thanks again for coming down.
Thanks for
Been
having me.
good to
Thanks,
see you again.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's good
And
to be here.
We got to get you back to more of your favorite music here on the radio and have some great. Well, no, not yet. That guy just starts talking all the time.
Oh.
Anyway, but before that, I want to let you know that we have some tunes coming up from Pearl Jam, Rick James, Eddie Money, and David Gray. But first, I'll let this guy talk about the weather. I hit the button too early.
You have to keep everything under
Warmer
control.
weather today.
Shit,
Under
under control.
Tomorrow through early.
I don't know about